Hi, Luther Cypress here from YakAttack. If you've heard of YakAttack, chances are you've heard of our product that we built our company on, the VISICarbon Pro. The VISICarbon Pro is a collapsible light and flag assembly that's used to help kayakers, particularly kayak anglers, improve their visibility on the water in day or nighttime. We've got an LED light that sits on top of the Carbon Pro. Batteries last about 100 hours. And then we've got a 6x18 inch flag. We'll get back to the Carbon Pro in a minute, but first I want to talk to you some more about some other products that we've got brand new for 2011. The first product I want to talk about that's new for 2011 for YakAttack is the YakAttack floating stakeout pole. This stakeout pole has been designed by kayak fishing guru Chad Hoover. Chad's been fishing for a lot of years in a lot of different situations. So Chad contacted me, we put our heads together, and this is what we came up with. The YakAttack floating stakeout pole is made from a super stiff, super strong fiberglass. It's not your typical pultruded fiberglass that's subject to cracking and things like that. This is a really strong tube used in a lot of very demanding applications. On one end of the stakeout pole here, we have what we call the foot. Now we might intuitively refer to this as the handle, but not only is this a stakeout pole, but if inverted, it can also be used as a push pole. So that's why we call this the foot. The wide stance of the foot has been designed to give you plenty of surface area to grip mud. So when you're using this as a push pole with a soft bottom, this is gonna grab in the mud and give you something to push against. In addition to that, we also have created a very ergonomic feel to the top of the foot so that when you are using it as a handle to push the pole down into the mud, gives you something very nice and ergonomic to grip to. Also, if you look closely at the foot, you'll see we've got a couple of notches on either side. Now these notches have been designed so that when you're retrieving duck decoys or anchors that have floats on them that have been disconnected, it gives the tether or the lanyard something to grab into. So when you reach out to retrieve your decoy or your anchor, the rope doesn't slide right down the pole. It's gonna catch right in that little notch. Also in the center of the foot, we've got a small hole. This is designed to give you a place to, if you want to put a tether or something like that, but probably more commonly it's going to be used to hang this thing up in your garage on a nail or something like that. Just below the foot, we've got a nice piece of 1/4 inch wall grip quality foam. We've already talked about the mast. Again, this is a really specialized piece of fiberglass. It's not your typical fiberglass tubing. Very, very strong, very, very durable. And then on the other end, we just have a simple tip. The YakAttack floating stakeout pole retails at $55, and we believe it's the best stakeout pole on the market in terms of value and quality and functionality. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk to you about that's brand new for 2011 is the YakAttack camera pole called the Pan.Fish. Now the reason we call this the Pan.Fish is because in the center of the mast we've designed friction discs that allow, if you grab the top of the mast, it allows you to pan it without affecting the base where it's mounted to the kayak. So this stays stationary, but the top part of the mast will pan. When you're out on the water, whether you're taking still photos, taking hero shots, or taking video of a fight with a fish, the most common axis of motion that you're going to need to change the direction of the camera is a horizontal pan. If you're fighting a fish and he's on this side of the kayak and you have your camera pointed over there and he decides to make a run to the other side, you just reach over, you pan, and you're back in action immediately. You don't have to fumble around with loosening up things and getting the pan and then having to tighten things back up or having the camera flop down and all these types of things. If you're taking stills, particularly hero shots, and you're using a time delay on your camera, you have this mounted in front of you. You can have the LCD pointed towards you so you can get to the controls, you can review the shots, or you can set up a time delay for a still shot. You hit the button, you pan it back around so that it's pointed at you, you grab your fish, you take the hero shot, and it's done. At the bottom of the Pan.Fish, we're going to have actually several mounting options The most versatile and the most stable of which is the new YakAttack MightyMount. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute, but just be aware that not only do we have a MightyMount attachment, but we also have the attachment for a Scotty or Canon base, and we also have the attachment for a 1.5 inch ram ball. In order of stability, the most stable is the MightyMount. That's going to give you the least amount of wobble in the camera. Probably the next in order of stability is the Scotty. And probably the last in stability for this type of application is the 1.5 inch ram ball. It's a great option, gives you a lot of versatility and positioning, but it inherent is a little bit of wobble, so you want to choose the mount that best suits your application. Now, with that said, there's no substitution for the versatility and the performance of RAM products when it comes to positioning the device, and that would be the camera itself. So we've chosen RAM components for the end of the camera pole. As you can see, we've got a 1 inch ram ball that's attached to the end. We've got a short double socket arm, and then we've got another 1 inch ram ball that has a 1/4-20 thread that's threaded into the ram ball that threads into the bottom of your camera. Pretty much all video and still cameras have a 1/4-20 thread. There are a couple of exceptions, including the GoPro, but even those cameras have adapters that screw to a 1/4-20 thread because it's the industry standard for attaching cameras to a camera pole or a tripod or anything like that. Like all YakAttack products, it floats, so if you do happen to lose it overboard, you know it's going to float around till you can retrieve it. Hopefully you have a waterproof camera on there, and it's going to retail for about 60 bucks. So the YakAttack Pan.Fish, as you can see, it's a great unit. It's quality products, just like all YakAttack products, built in the USA. Plenty of mounting options. It floats, it pans. We've got high quality RAM components here for setting up and positioning your camera, and at 60 bucks it's a great value, and we believe it's the best camera pole on the market for taking stills or video out on the water. So we talked about the camera pole, and we talked about one of the mounting options is our brand new mount, the MightyMount. The MightyMount is it's a very versatile, very small, very durable mount that can be used to attach accessories to track systems, and it also can be used as a standalone mount. If you look here on my Hobie Outback, I've got a MightyMount that's attached directly to the kayak, and this is where I put my camera pole for taking stills and hero shots. So here I've got the camera pole, the Pan.Fish, and in the bottom of the Pan.Fish you can see we've got a T-bolt. The T-bolt slides directly into the MightyMount, and then with a few revolutions it tightens up against the mount. Now the reason this is such a great mounting option for camera poles is because once it's tightened, you don't have any play in the system. This is really great because now I can also take the same camera pole, I can remove it, and I can change the position for where I like to keep this mounted for when I'm taking video. So a great option for attaching cameras, for attaching other devices, is the MightyMount. If we take a closer look at the MightyMount, you can see that we have a slot in the middle, which is what our T-bolt will slide into, and on the underside we have a pocket cut out that allows the head of the T-bolt to fit in there. And once you tighten it up, as I said before, it's completely tight, there's no play, it's a great mounting system. Now, I mentioned that this can also be used for mounting accessories to tracks, and I'll show you an example of that. Here we have a typical Scotty rod holder, and if you look closely at the MightyMount, you can see there are a couple of gold colored threaded inserts, and these have been designed to allow us to attach a variety of things, one of which is a Scotty 241 base. So using a couple of pieces of hardware which are included in this kit, and using the Mighty bolt, which is the YakAttack T anchor bolt, and then a knob for the top of the bolt, we're able to put a MightyMount on each end of our Scotty base, which gives us a way to attach this directly to a track system. So here we have our Scotty base. It's been attached with MightyMounts on both ends, and we have our Wilderness Systems Tarpon 100, which has SlideTrax on it. So we take the bolts on each end, we loosen them up enough that our T-bolt can fit, and it slides right into the tracks. Once we get it positioned, we tighten the T-bolts up using the easy accessed, easy turn hand knobs, and we have a very stable mount that's not going anywhere. The design of the MightyMount is such that it doesn't tighten up against the rail. It actually spans the rail and it tightens up against the kayak itself. This gives you that added stability that you can only get from connecting directly to the kayak. The other great thing about this is you're out on the water, you change positions, you change what kind of fishing you're doing, you make any kind of changes where you want to do on-the-fly adjustment of the way that your kayak is rigged. No need to go back inland, no need to pull out any tools. You just loosen the components up, slide it around to where you want it, tighten it right back up. And in addition to being able to work with the Scotty 241 base, also works with a Cannon base and with our brand new ram ball called the Screwball. Ram makes great products, unparalleled versatility and positioning, and it's just such a great system. Being able to attach a ram ball directly to track system was something that we definitely wanted to be able to accomplish, and accomplish in a way that's going to work really well for the kayaker. So what we've done is we've worked out an arrangement with Ram. We buy the components from Ram, but we add the threaded insert to the inside of the ram ball, so now it will accept the YakAttack Mighty Bolt. Using the Mighty Bolt, we can then either attach it directly to SlideTrax. Great connection, stable connection. Again, easily moved and repositioned. Or if we want that added stability, we can put a MightyMount between it, which transfers the load onto the actual kayak itself. Tighten that up, and now we have an even more stable connection. So the MightyMount, again, very versatile. It can be used as a standalone mount. It can be used to attach Scotty bases. It can be used to attach Cannon bases. And it can be used to attach ram balls to track systems such as Wilderness Systems SlideTrax or Native's The Groove. Now, of course, being the makers of the VISICarbon Pro and having this great new mounting system out, it just wouldn't make any sense not to have a version of the VISICarbon Pro that fits the MightyMount. So that's exactly what we've done. We've tooled up the VISICarbon Pro with an adapter to accept the threaded insert so that we can put in the Mighty Bolt. Take the Mighty Bolt, we have our MightyMount. And now, in addition to the Ram, Scotty, and Talon connections for your VISICarbon Pro, now you have also the MightyMount. The great thing again about this mount is it's a super stable, super secure connection, and when you remove the unit from it, it leaves behind only a 1/2 inch high mount, which makes loading your kayak on top of your car or something like that a breeze. The Scotty kit, the Scotty 241 kit for the MightyMount, including the Scotty 241 base, 2 MightyMounts, and all the necessary hardware, is going to retail for about 30 bucks. The 1-inch ram ball kit is going to retail for about 15 bucks, and the 1.5 inch ram ball kit is going to retail for about 20 bucks. Alright, so there you have it. Brand new for 2011 for YakAttack. We have the floating stakeout pole, we have the Pan.Fish camera pole, we have the MightyMount, we have the MightyMount attachment for Scotty, Talon, and Ram components, and we have the MightyMount attachment for the Pan.Fish camera pole and for the VISICarbon Pro. And in case you didn't already guess this, we're just getting started. We've got a bunch of great designs that are on the drawing board for later in 2011 and moving on into 2012. We think if you're a dealer, your customers are going to love it, and we think this is going to be a great addition to the kayak fishing industry and a great set of tools for the kayak fishing community.